Southampton. The Manchester United side riddled with injuries too. Of course, Brian Robson is missing, Paul McGrath too, Johnny Sieverbeck and Norman Whiteside, who was hurt on New Year's Day in the victory against Newcastle United. But thankfully, Kevin Moran has recovered from the knock he took there when he lost his tongue for a time and had to be revived by the physiotherapist. Kevin fit enough to lead the side. He's United's skipper. And the referee for this match at the Dell is Colin Downey from Hounslow in Middlesex, who's had much off playing left to right, all in blue. Frank Stapleton restored at centre forward for Peter Davenport, who's sub. And Tony Gill, an 18-year-old from Bradford, wearing 7, making his first team appearance, is in the side, with Mike Duxbury reverting to full-back for the injured Sieverbeck. Holmes won that. Clark to Cockrell, and Wallace is onside. Danny Wallace put up his stride by Colin Gibson, and a goal kick, the result of that.
Well, they've got to keep their eye on Wallace. He's a very sharp little fella, and if you watch number 3 Gibson here, he does really, really well, because he just gets a little touch on him, just as he's going to do it there, knocking in the back of the net. And Gibson at left back is very quick, and he needed his pace there.
That's Mr. Downey, a referee of vast experience in the Football League. Olsen. Mark Dennis with him. Play to Duxbury. Olsen again, but Dennis getting the ball back in the end. And that was O'Brien going in hard on Mark Dennis. And O'Brien is getting his name taken after just 90 seconds of the match. Attention required for Mark Dennis. The ball was running away from him when he went into the challenge. And that will be an unfamiliar name to Colin Downey. And he's put him off. What a tragedy. What a tragedy for Liam O'Brien. His first involvement in the game, over the top to Mark Dennis, and Colin Downey putting him off despite the protestations of the United captain Kevin Moran. Now, you can think what you like about that, and undoubtedly the challenge was hard and harsh, but I think a referee in such circumstances must surely give benefit of the doubt to a player in only his 4th appearance in a First Division lineup.
Well, there's no doubt he did. Liam O'Brien did come in late. It was a bad tackle, but it was not a sending off tackle. If referees were as strict as that in every game, then there'll be lots of players sent off in their first few minutes. That's I just can't believe that. If he continues like that, the referee, then there'll be nobody left on the pitch by the end of the game. And I think I'm very sorry for Liam O'Brien in that particular incident there.
90 seconds of the match, and Manchester United are down to 10 men. Well, of course, it could be just the kind of incident to spur United on to greater effort through the remaining 88 minutes of the match. That's Mark Dennis being told to keep his hair on. He is not a player unknown to referees in the Football League. Dennis has been sent off himself in his time, the Southampton left back, and more than once at that. Gittins now. And Gartner rather sold himself. Lawrence. And the ball out again for another Southampton throw. Well, that really has put a dampener on the proceedings here. This play is stopped, by the way. There's no need for Jerry Forrest to carry on. It really has put a dampener on it. My own view on that is simply that the referee has gone over the top himself. He must know that Liam O'Brien is a youngster. The tackle, as John Giles said, was by no means as bad as many we see week in, week out. Colin Downey, I think, must have got out of bed the wrong side this morning. There's Cockrell up. And now Nicky Holmes. And turns and there we go. The club captain, only 4 appearances this season because of serious injury, And in he comes 4 minutes into the match and catches Turner off his line.
Well, that was a very good cross. I think Cockrell gets his head on the ball, hits the back of one of the defenders' heads, and Holmes does very well here. That's his swinger, and he knew exactly what he was doing. Turner's a little bit on the short side, and it was a really good goal.
Well, the game isn't yet 5 minutes old, and already we've had 2 major incidents. And Nick Holmes, the club captain for Southampton, catching Chris Turner in no man's land and getting the goal that puts Saints 1-0 up. Whatever else we have, we've got plenty to think about. And still only 5 minutes gone. We're looking at Tony Gill, the young lad. And Cockrell to Jerry Forrest. Gittins. Dennis. And Clark back to right. To Forrest. Lawrence. And Turner. So very sad for Liam O'Brien. He knew that we were covering the match at Sports Stadium. We got a great ringsend wave from him when he was out warming up before the game. And this, above all matches, I'm sure the one in which he would have wanted to do well. And he comes up against a referee who, by common consent up here anyway, has been rather too harsh. United, having lost O'Brien, have adopted an interesting formation now. They've got their 2 pint-sized strikers up. Terry Gibson here, number 10, and also Jesper Olsen. Frank Stapleton has been withdrawn into a midfield position. And if you've joined us late, you've missed a lot already. Liam O'Brien has been sent off, and Nicky Holmes has put Manchester United 1-0 in arrears. Kevin Moran now. And right, and now Holmes, and now Baker. Clark, losing out to Gill, and Colin Gibson. Holmes away, Stapleton here, and Moran. Gittins went in, and Baker now towards Wallace. Lawrence. And Lawrence still there. It's rebounded to Baker. Away by Moran. Terry Gibson. And Colin Gibson. No relations, of course. There's only 10 men on the pitch. The ball played into the space that the 11th man might have occupied. Cockrell. And Cockrell beaten by Stapleton. And right back to the keeper, Eric Nixon.
I must say, Southampton are using the extra man well. The right from the back is using it well, and they're getting Manchester United running around. The 2 little fellas up front, it's difficult when Moran and Garth get the ball at the back to really hit somebody, and you'll find them struggling in that position.
Dennis. And now Holmes to Clark. Finding Wallace. Onto Baker. And the ball just bobbled there. He was shaping for a shot. Played towards Clark, but just too high for him. And now Gordon Strachan. Billy Garton rather. A shout from Kevin Moran to use the keeper, but Garton preferring to keep it going forward. Strachan. And Olsen not able to keep it in play. 10 minutes gone. Southampton 1, Manchester United 0. And Duxbury knocking it in the middle. It's come off Stapleton. Forrest there. And Gill getting in and winning. He assumed a lot of responsibility early on, Tony Gill, wearing the famous 7th shirt of Brian Robson. It's Olsen fouled by Holmes. Ironic cheers from the United fans, and United quickly on with it. Wright saw the danger, Strachan beat him. And Dennis now back. Olsen. And he's made it! Jesper Olsen cancels out the lead.
Well, a great reply from Manchester United, and Olsen has played well since the start of the game, showed great control. And he gets inside here, he gets a shot. I don't know whether it goes through somebody's legs in this position. That's what's going to happen here. It's gone through Wright's legs, and it does unsight the goalkeeper a little bit, and he was a little bit late getting down to it. Good goal from Olsen.
11 minutes gone. Jesper Olsen gets the equaliser. Southampton 1, Manchester United 1. And I don't know if you noticed, but there was a similar challenge there from Colin Gibson on George Lawrence to the one that earlier on had got Liam O'Brien sent off. But only a word in the ear of Colin Gibson. And worth reiterating the point that John Giles made, which I felt was a contributory factor in the O'Brien incident, that the top surface is greasy. Liam slid in, caught the player who had showed too much of the ball to him, and the referee decided that it was a sending off offence. And worth remembering too, if we get the chance to see it again, that Liam O'Brien went in along the ground going for the ball and could by no means have been termed to have gone over the top. Hard and harsh the challenge may have been, but fair it was from this angle. Clark for Southampton. Gartner's with him and has won the throw. Holmes and Steve Baker.
I must say that's just exactly what United needed there, because Southampton were using the ball well and using the extra man well, and Olsen has shown a great deal of skill at the moment. There's just a bit of magic there in the middle of the field, and a really good shot to beat the goalkeeper.
Gill. And Duxbury. There was no one there for him. Right to Cockrell. Forrest. Determined run forward by the full-back. And looking towards Clark. And that seemed to come off Moran, but the linesman was there to see, and it was blindside from this angle, and the goal kick has been awarded. Colin Clark and Billy Garton there. Can expect a bit of a tussle between that pair this afternoon. Holmes forward again. Little Wallace got up to get the head to that, but to no avail. Southampton have won a throw. The clock says 15 minutes, and we've seen Holmes, Nick Holmes and Jesper Olsen hit the target for each side. And of course United with 10 men, Liam O'Brien off. And a lot of responsibility devolving upon this man, Frank Stapleton, now operating at the centre of United's midfield. Mark Dennis, the throw towards Clark, down towards Wallace. Turner forced to claim it. Throw from Colin Gibson to Olsen. Lovely touches. It's put a little behind Gill. Cockrell now, and then Baker. Southampton getting themselves in knots and then untying themselves. And the defence snapping shut. Gibson. The other Gibson, Terry, wants it played long, but that was more in hope than anything else.
It's difficult to know what formation United are playing because they've pulled Frank Stapleton back into the middle of the field and they've left Gibson on virtually up on his own. I think they'd be better off just leaving Frank up there beside Gibson, let the two of them play there.
There is the other point to be made that they do have Peter Davenport on the substitute bench, so that if they felt they needed a little more height up front, they could get it from Davenport, who's hit 11 goals this season and might well be called into the action sooner rather than later. Moran dwelt too long. Cockrell, no one had run for him. Right, content to let it run. Gittins to shepherd it back to Eric Nixon. Jimmy Case there at the back of the Southampton bench. Suspended 2 games. Wright coming away with it. Clark beaten there by Duxbury. Now Olsen. Played on towards Gibson. And off Strachan for the throw to Southampton. Wallace for Dennis. Moran in first. Play towards Holmes. Pace of the ball beating him. Well, the servant of the club, Nick Holmes, scorer of their first goal here. Stapleton, Olsen, Strachan, and Colin Gibson in some room. Olsen running about, the little ferret up ahead, ferreting out the openings. Played up to Gill. And Gill trying to get the shot on target, but not succeeding. Tony Gill, only 18, making his debut. Lad from Bradford.
Well, Frank Stapleton is playing very, very deep, deepest of the midfield players. But in fact, United, even though they've got 10 men, they've got 5 players across the middle of the field, and Gibson is the only one up front on his own. And I think from kick-outs and high balls, they're going to be lost down there. I think they should keep Stapleton up front.
20 minutes gone. Southampton 1, Manchester United 1. And even as John Giles speaks, so Alex Ferguson appears to hear, and Frank Stapleton has now joined the strike force and manages to get himself caught offside and has gone back to his midfield position.
Well, I think what they're trying to do, and the ball goes back to the goalkeeper, I think they're trying to get Frank up front to get on the end of the kick-outs, but that's going to be a hell of a job for Frank to do, because as soon as he didn't win that ball, he had to get back into the middle of the field again. And I think he's going to be a little bit confused as the match goes on, or else he's going to get very tired.
And that's the little lad, Terry Gibson, former Tottenham and Coventry striker. Scorer of a few goals, but none as yet this season for Manchester United. He's only been intermittently in the team. Now, Turner's clearance will be aimed towards Stapleton, or in that general direction, because Frank is up there now. But again, the ball is lost, and again, Frank having a back pedal. Gibson chasing this. Lawrence back. And this certainly proving a very tiring spell for Frank Stapleton, who's covering all in the middle third of the field and pushing up when United are in possession. Olsen beating Cockle. Then up the line from Dennis. Stapleton to Olsen. But Forrest up to Wallace. And Moran in charge. Clark has grabbed a lot of Wallace. And now Dennis towards Clark again. Duxbury. Strachan unable to keep it in play. Reached the midway point of the first half. Southampton and Manchester United locked at 1-1. Olsen. And Gibson on the overlap was never going to catch that. Olsen towards Terry Gibson. Gittins saw the danger. And now Cockrell. Dennis getting the boos of the Manchester United fans. Clark got up. And the danger averted. The boos for Dennis because of his involvement in the incident which saw Liam O'Brien sent off.
Well, I think Southampton have lost their way a little bit. In fact, Manchester United's passing is a lot better. Olsen's making very good space for himself, but his final ball is very poor. And I think if he could get that going, he could really get United on their way.
United 9 places off the bottom of Division 1, Southampton 6 after the New Year's Day round of fixtures. The points, of course, vital to both sides, but United's recent form a good deal more convincing. Only one defeat in their last 6 matches. And And that's against Norwich on December the 27th. Cheer of United goes up. That wall facing Gordon Strachan. And there's his free kick, which, as the man said, might as well have been hit up here.
And that's a bit of a waste for Manchester United, because they're dangerous positions for Southampton, and it's very unlike Gordon Strachan, who's normally, his concentration's very good and a very accurate kicker. But he seemed to be in about 4 different minds as to what to do with that free kick.
Olsen, Cockrell with him. Oh, he got out of that so well. Gibson, Colin Gibson that is, on the left, and he's used. Terry Gibson's in the middle. There's no big man, and no trouble in the end to Nixon. Well, what superb skill from Jesper Olsen to take 2 Southampton men out of it to set that move up. Lawrence towards Wallace, and the flag went up, and Wallace was caught offside. Some of the fizz certainly gone out of the match after that early flourish.
But United have come into it very well, and Olsen's skill has been outstanding. And that time he did use the ball well. His final pass was very good. I think he's got to keep concentrating and doing that, and he'll really could change the game for Manchester United.
Gill got in well there, and now Duxbury. Strachan. Olsen. And Dennis clattering Olsen. Now, what's to happen here? That was a really dreadful challenge too. He had no compunction about taking out the man there, and the clatter as Dennis put himself in between Olsen and the ball was quite astonishing. Now, having sent Liam O'Brien off, if Mark Dennis stays on here, then the referee really has to have a question asked about him. Well, he's staying. And Mark Dennis, the man with a reputation and a half for a disciplinary record that's less than perfect, gets away with a bad challenge, while Liam O'Brien, with his first tackle in the game, found himself marching off to the dressing room.
Well, I must say, I think there was as much intent to injure a player in that as there was in Liam O'Brien's tackle. And I think the referee was right, actually, not to send him off. I think he was wrong to send O'Brien off, but there's no consistency about him. I think the decision early on in the game was always wrong.
Strachan for Olsen, who has recovered. Strachan again. That's Dennis going in once more with a clean challenge this time. Olsen winning it back. Stapleton against Gittins, with a few sore heads on the terrace. The challenge won by Forrest. Yes, that's certainly a very interesting point at John's. Whether or not O'Brien should have been sent off, surely the question is one of consistency. But you can't treat one man differently from another. 1-2 played with Olsen, Colin Gibson getting the cross, Mark Wright with a header away. And Lawrence to Cockrell. Gill trying to get back. And Cockrell showing good pace, and played to Clark, who's onside. And Southampton's top scorer, the chance of setting something up here perhaps, falling to Baker. And off Billy Garton and away for the corner.
Well, that was good play by Southampton, and Cockrell was very prominent in that. He knew exactly what he was doing all the way when he made his first break, to play it out to the right winger. And when it came back to him, a delicate little chip back in again to put him in all sorts of trouble.
And Southampton's first corner of the match is won in the 30th minute of the first half, and will be taken by the man who scored their goal after 4 minutes, Mr. Nick Holmes. No trouble to Duxbury. And And Forrest, who'd stayed back, brought into the play. Up goes Clark. And falling to Holmes. Wallace tried to get there. It's now Wright. And Terry Gibson did well. Wright not expecting the challenge to come from that quarter. It's now Duxbury and Dennis sliding in on Gill. Strachan. And Wallace showing studs to Strachan, much to the Scotsman's distaste. And with half an hour of the first half gone, it stands even Steven, 1-1. Baker. Baker seen a lot of the ball. And involved again. Out of Strachan. United's throw. Olsen. Strachan. And now Duxbury. Kevin Moran. Back to Turner.
I think Kevin is better using the ball in that position because the kick-outs from Turner, if you watch here, there's absolutely no Manchester United players at all because Frank Stable is, after the first couple of times, has stopped coming up for the kick-outs, and they're a bit of a waste for Manchester United.
Free kick awarded against Colin Gibson. Jerry Forrest for Southampton. Cut out by Stapleton. And now Olsen. And Strachan on the edge of the centre circle. Unable to make the telling pass. Gittins to Baker to Forrest. Cockrell. And then Lawrence. Eventually dispossessed. No one knew where the ball was, and it's come eventually to Colin Gibson. And Olsen against Gittins. Only Terry Gibson is up, though. So it needs some Danish magic. Or maybe something here from Gill. Finding Strachan. All had to be a bit ponderous as they awaited the arrival of somebody from the back. Duxbury eventually got there. Then Terry Gibson over the top.
It was good play for Manchester United. When the ball got out to Strachan, Duxbury was half an hour too late getting up behind it. He should have been and put somebody out of the game. Should have been already there. But Gibson, very good around the goals in those positions. A very difficult shot for him.
Forrest again. Clark against Moran. Falls for Holmes, and now Wallace. Wallace against Garton. Sharp finisher and a fine stop by Chris Turner.
Well, you got to watch Wallace all the time. I think Kevin let him get the runs. Oh, Kevin had made the challenge. Again, a good shot with his left foot, but Turner makes a good save here. You'd expect him to save that one, though. He's on his near post.
Another corner to Southampton. And Lawrence swinging it wide. Baker beating off the challenge of Gibson. Gittins up. Turner saving. Garton playing it up towards Terry Gibson. And Wright hoofing it away. Dennis. Clark. Wallace. Stapleton. And now Olsen. Colin Gibson to his left. Terry Gibson up ahead. He beat the defender, the first one that is, but not the second. Cockrell towards Baker, cleared by Duxbury. Forrest. And Mark Wright. Clark. Baker. And Wright to Dennis. Wallace climbing. And Turner made the save.
Good play by Southampton. Wright's come into the game very well. And Dennis, although he's sent off a lot of times, he's not a bad player. Very good left foot. And Wallace, for a little fella, gets up really well there. But quite a comfortable save for Turner.
Meanwhile, Southampton have won a free kick. Dennis to Forrest. Baker. And Clark got in behind the defence. Goal kick. 17 goals he's got this season so far. Colin Clark, the Northern Ireland international, beginning with a hat-trick at his first game of the season for Saints at home to Queen's Park Rangers. The first day of this season. Now Cockrell, hoping that Wallace would have got away, but no.
Well, I can't understand that from Kevin, because he knows every time the ball is kicked out, I mean, there's only Gibson and Olsen up front. They're not going to win the ball in the air. And he'd be better carrying the ball forward and try and play it to him himself.
Baker now for Southampton. Garton has gone with Clark. And dispossesses him at the expense of a throw. Lawrence, fouled by Colin Gibson. And the free kick to Southampton with a little over 6 minutes to half-time. Score still locked at 1-1. Southampton's attack got all mixed up. United able to close the defence. Dennis to Clark. Handball. Duxbury, Stapleton. And now Wright to Forrest. Baker. Lawrence and Forrest. And Holmes unable to climb high enough. Dennis. Clark this time, with nobody up to put pressure on the keeper. Strachan. Uncharacteristically loose one from him. Holmes to Cockerell. And Gittins all the way back. 5 minutes to half-time.
Well, Kevin did well. He found Strachan with the ball, but it's very unlike him to lose it there. But he did get after the ball and make him pass back the goalkeeper, which is a good spirit, showing a good spirit from Manchester United.
Cockerell. Dennis. Beaten by Olsen. And Cockerell fouling Olsen. Some delightful touches in the game so far from Jesper Olsen. Strachan riding two heavy challenges there. Gibson beaten by Gittins. Strachan away from Holmes. Free kick awarded.
Referee is terrible. Guinness just had a kick at Strachan there, and then when Strachan has good possession of the ball, he pulls him back. Doesn't seem to know what he's doing at all.
United left with this free kick. And he wants that two-man wall back. Strachan and Olsen then together. Strachan trying to test Dixon. The keeper had his body behind it. Danny Wallace around Duxbury. And Wallace still there. And Moores was the challenge, and a corner has been awarded, and Strachan can't believe it. John, not the only one unhappy with the performance of the referee down there. Southampton have a corner that the United players felt certain should not have been awarded. George Lawrence taking it. Frank Stapleton got the header on, and Turner made the catch.
I think when United reduced to 10 men, I'd expect a little bit more from Gordon Strachan. He is a very, very good player, but he seems to restrict himself just to the right-hand side of the field, and I think he could go and get after the ball a little bit better.
Gittins getting it back to the keeper. His clearance on by Holmes. And Cockerell tangling with Stapleton and losing to Olsen. Strachan. Olsen. And Stapleton. Looking for Terry Gibson. And it's now Baker for Lawrence. Turner doing well. Under considerable pressure, the keeper there, and he did well.
I think Turner's hurt himself there. I think he's caught the ball, but landed very badly on his back. If you watch him here, he does well to hold on to the ball because he's come straight down. He's good cross from Lawrence. And if you watch Turner here, he actually comes down very badly on his back. And goalkeepers sometimes lose possession of the ball there. He did well to hold on to it.
George Lawrence, whose cross it was, caused the problem. And we're in the final minute of the first half. 1-1 is the score. And United with 10 men. Liam O'Brien having been sent off. Now, Wallace. Not catch Turner this time.
Well, I must say, Manchester United are doing well, but I think Frank Stable is absolutely wasted where he is. He's playing very deep in midfield, just in front of the back four, and they've got nobody up front. I mean, Olsen and Gibson are the only two up front now for this free kick, for a goal kick. And every time United get a goal kick, it's virtually giving the ball back to Southampton, and they're going to find it very difficult for the rest of the game to do that.
We're into added time at the end of the first half. And another example of the point that was just made by John. Straight to Jerry Forrest for Southampton. On up to Clark. And one for Lawrence to chase, but Colin Gibson was aware of the danger.
So I think in this position here now, I think Kevin Moran should get on the ball, and Duxbury should get on it and play it a bit more and get Gibson out wide. And then they can drive the ball into the small fellas up front. But once he starts kicking it out like this, they've little or no chance of winning it.
Well, it doesn't matter what happens to that long ball because it's half-time. Half brought to a close by the man who sent off Liam O'Brien after only 90 seconds of the match for a challenge on Mark Dennis. Nick Holmes puts Southampton 1-0 up after 4 minutes. Jesper Olsen equalised after 11. So a first half of some disappointment. Colin Downey. You might care to note his name. He's already got the name of Liam O'Brien in his book. And Mark Dennis, the Southampton left back. And the scoreline as we begin the second half, as it was in the 12th minute of the game. Holmes for Southampton, Olsen for United. And Stapleton beginning the second half, middle of the picture there, in the United midfield where he was at the end of the first. Holmes on towards Clark, down for Wallace, and his control just let him down.
A little bit unlucky there, Southampton, and Wallace is very sharp in those positions, and he just got a little toe poke away from himself, but a good header down from Clark. And Clark, I must say, is an impressive player, very strong and hard to shrug off the ball in the penalty area.
Mark Wright, the England centre-half, tidying up. Now Forrest, the full-back. Colin Gibson sliding in on Lawrence. Then Lawrence beating him. And Billy Garton beating Danny Wallace. Olsen. Colin Gibson. And the ball is out of play.
You've got to expect more from an England defender than that, and he's not under pressure at all. And again, he's normally a very good user of the ball, right? And I think Southampton have got to start pushing the ball around and try to expose the 10 men of Manchester United.
You're seeing a lot of the gantry on which we're perched on top of the stand at the Dell. It's worth pointing out that it is a tight little ground, capacity now just over 25,000. Its record crowd, in fact, came to follow Manchester United here in October 1969, just over 31,000. But of course, ground safety regulations have moved on a bit since then. 25,000 the capacity at the Dell in Southampton now. And we are right above the touchline. Clark, Lawrence, and Baker chasing this. Garton got back, but offside has been awarded. Linesman on the far side of the field awarding offside against Southampton, and Steve Baker in particular. Lawrence. And now Billy Garton. Cockrell to Dennis. He showed much too much of that to Moran. And he's having a little go at Frank Stapleton off the ball, which I don't think you saw. Mark Dennis. It's come down to Lawrence. That altercation has ended. The whistle has gone, and the book has come out, and Gordon Strachan's name is going into it for something he said about the Mark Dennis affair.
Well, this is unbelievable. I mean, he's going to book Strachan for saying something. Dennis on his run, overrun the ball, and in fact it was Kevin Moore, and Kevin just got out of the way in time. And now with Strachan complaining about the particular tackle, he's booking Strachan. There should be an inquiry. I think the referee should be sent off. What's this now when he overruns the ball? He's coming straight at Kevin. And Kevin does well to get out of the way of this. That is a really bad tackle. And Dennis could have injured Kevin Moore badly there. And there's not a word to Dennis.
So Strachan's name goes in the book. 4 minutes of the second half gone. And Dennis in again, this time on Terry Gibson. And the Manchester United players are incensed with the performance of this referee, who appears to be losing control by the minute. We are now going to get Mark Dennis spoken to. He's already been booked, so if he's going to be spoken to again, he has to go. Well, seldom have I seen a referee in such apparent confusion about who is in charge. As players taking control from him, it would appear.
I think it's a pity there's nobody to send the referee off.
I think Dennis fortunate to survive, on the pitch that is. And all of that brought about by himself, because there has been no aggravation in the match at all, except that which has been occasioned when he has gone charging around like a JCB out of control. Cockrell penalised this time. Colin Downey from Hounslow in Middlesex, who is refereeing it by the Downey rules. Mark Wright. Lawrence against Garton. And Garton bundling Lawrence out of the way, and Billy Garton's going to have his name taken. George Lawrence is in the crowd. Well, back out now, as you can see. And Garton, who clattered into him, has his name taken.
Well, I must say, I think it was a book in offence. I think he did have a bit of a go at him. I think he was unfortunate the wall, so I saw him near, but Lawrence disappeared there. But I think he did deserve to be booked.
So that's 4 in the referee's book, and one of them no longer on the pitch. That's sadly Liam O'Brien. Well, we're having variations on the theme of a whistle concerto by Downey. This time the free kick to Manchester United. The score is still 1-1. And Wallace having a go at Olsen. And if you care to cast your mind back, all this began from that challenge by Dennis on Kevin Moore, and subsequently the little argy-bargy that he had, which wasn't seen on screen, with Frank Stapleton. And since that, tempers have begun to become a little bit frayed. And that's Mark Dennis on the ball now. To Wallace. And Moore blocking it, corner to Southampton.
But when the referee lets the game flow and he's not spoiling it, I think Southampton are getting on top of this game as they should do. I think Manchester United, although they're down to 10 men, should have a little bit more conviction about getting on the ball and passing it around. And I still don't think Frank Stapleton should be playing in the position he is. I think he's absolutely wasted there.
Lawrence with a corner. stacking away. And Gibson to go on Harry Dennis. Lawrence beaten by Olsen and out off the Southampton man. Meanwhile, Billy Garton down in some trouble. It looks rather as if he got a knock on the head in that from that corner. And Jim McGregor on to check him out. Billy Garton, one of the United centre-backs. Graham Hogg and Paul McGrath and Kevin Moran all vying for the 2 places. And this is where we look at Billy Garton getting some attention. Frank Stapleton appears to be attempting to walk off a bit of a knock. Just passed through the shot there.
I think Garton got a knock in the I think it was with Clark, but Frank Stapleton is limping a little bit too, and I think he was looking over at the bench there. I don't think he wants to get off the field, but things don't look too good for him. Might be a blessing in disguise actually if Frank does go off, because I think they'll have to put Davenport up front and get 2 definite front players. And at the moment, even though they're down to 10 men, they've still got 5 players across the middle of the field, and I just can't understand that.
He has the look of a man who doesn't really appear to know where he is, Billy Garton. And those are the smelling salts repeated. And Garton, I think, is going to continue for the moment. This is the incident in which it occurred, the injury to Garton.
I think it was Clark was jumping for the ball, and it was the big lad Gittins, and Garton's got it on the back of the head there. But I think when the referee was in that vicinity, I think they should give him a little drop of the smelling salts as well while he was there.
So United continue as you were. And Frank Stapleton, meanwhile, has been pulled back to centre-half, marking Danny Wallace. Garton is now in midfield. And a mistake by Frank there, unable to connect with the ball. Wallace and Garton back to tidy it up. Twelve minutes of the second half played, 1-1.
I think he's got to take this lad off. I think he's really struggling. They've got Frank in the middle of the back 4, and Garton playing up now in midfield. And I think Davenport's got to come on.
Jerry Forrest, Southampton right back. And United have lost all their shape here. Olsen losing out to Baker. The ball will beat everybody. It's a throw to Manchester United. No movement at all on the United bench. Dennis underneath this. Wallace turning Moran. Duxbury thought about diving in, changed his mind, and then got in the block when it was required. Holmes. And now Baker. Towards Clark again, and Holmes! Well, Nick Holmes was in the right place to get the opening goal and got himself in the right place again.
That was good play here. Actually, Becker did well on the ball. The crowd were giving him a little bit of stick for holding on to it too long, but he got a good reverse cross in here. And again, I think it's Clark getting up to knock it down. A little bit unlucky for Holmes. He's on his right foot. He's very left-footed type of player, and I think if that had been on his left foot, he'd have knocked it in. But Manchester United have got it. I know they've only got 10 men, but they've got to get passing the ball a little bit, because they can't keep giving the ball back to Southampton, or they'll pay the price.
Terry Gibson penalised for illegal use of the elbow when jumping for that high ball. And it's now Dennis. Stapleton away. Misplaced pass, Dennis again. And Southampton caught offside. Well, Garton there, you just saw him briefly appearing to call for assistance again from the touchline. There's been no movement at all on the United bench, which is the further one away of the two we saw just then. Gill. Just pulled that back a little more. There might have been something for Terry Gibson. Tony Gill making the run up the right. United's debutant. Baker to Holmes. Played 60 minutes of the match. Mark Dennis. Stapleton rising. Cockrell down to Holmes. Dennis again. Holmes. Stapleton underneath it. Duxbury finally getting it away, but Gibson up all on his own. Now Dennis. Stapleton away. And Mark Wright tangling with Duxbury. The linesman deciding that Duxbury committed a foul. Southampton have a free kick. And everybody can afford to go up, because United pull everyone back. Wallace got the header on, but just too high, just over the target.
Well, again, you see a little Wallace there. He's only a small fella, very short. A very good ball in from Dennis. He's got a free header really on the goals. Very dangerous around the goals in that position. But I must say this about Dennis. He causes a lot of trouble, but he can certainly play, and he's got a great left foot, and he's doing really well for Southampton when he's just playing the ball.
Once more, the long ball out of defence going straight to a Southampton player. And now it's Mark Dennis again. Gittins fouling Gibson. United's free kick. Strachan. It's Holmes who knocked the ball away. Now Stapleton. And Forrest dispossessing him. And Jerry Forrest on the run. And Wallace bundled off it by Garton. And Lawrence rebounding from Garton, and suddenly the game has stepped up a gear. With Duxbury making ground up the right. Strachan in possession. Tony Gill. Terry Gibson in the middle, no big man in the middle. And with Gittins and right there, no problem. But what a poor clearance by Gittins. Strachan now. Gill. Perhaps intimidated by the presence of Dennis. Graham Sharp has got that goal, keeping Everton's pressure on Arsenal. Gibson making it hard for Strachan. That worked rather well. Strachan off on a run and wants it back. United ball. If it goes, which it didn't. Cockrell for Southampton. Wallace against Garton. And the centre half appears to have recovered. And the knock that left him looking dazed. And Dennis with the cross. Clark getting up there. But a goal kick to Manchester United. Clark now. Holmes to Wallace. Falling over Moran. United skipper giving away that free kick. And while Turner sorts out his positioning, Danny Wallace holds his ground with Billy Garton. Southampton take the kick and waste it.
Southampton are playing very badly at the moment, and it's not that Manchester United are playing so great. It's just that it's their own deficiencies really in Southampton's team that's letting them down.
Matt Letizia, the young Guernsey lad, Southampton's substitute. He's been used regularly in that role this season.
Well, I think if any of the players string two good passes together in succession, they'll win man of the match the way this game has gone now.
Gibson for Olsen. Free kick against Baker. Olsen. Easy for Cockrell. Now Gibson, Colin that is, Olsen. And Forrest's played a sound game at right back and had his feet taken from him just then. Free kick to Southampton. Charlie Forrest came from Rotherham. And now Clark, cleared by Garton. Forrest once more. Gittins. And Forrest again. Garton away. Olsen, as Baker committed himself, showed much too much of that to right. Now Colin Gibson. Strachan. Picking out Duxbury. Strachan wants it back and gets it. Gill. And Terry Gibson! So near, and yet so far.
Well, that was very good play for Manchester United. And the way the game is going at the moment, if they string a few passes together, they'll be okay. This is a good cross from the young boy, Gill, and Gibson, a little fella, gets behind right, which is bad marking from right, and that was one of the best saves you'll see. That's a really good save from the goalkeeper.
Eric Nixon on loan from Manchester City, keeping Southampton level. And United have their very first corner. Strachan with it. Cleared by Cockbull. Colin Gibson pushing Clark. And Gibson just having a few words with Jesper Olsen as he went past, I think asking for a little more effort from the Dane. But Nixon there was certainly on top of his game to make that save. Southampton's throw. Now Baker, and Forrest again making himself available on the right. It was Moran who got it away as the Southampton attack arrived in strength.
Well, we've seen a bit of passing in the last few minutes, and Manchester United have had a chance, and that was a very good cross from Forrest, who's done well for Southampton on this right-hand side. Excellent cross, and I think Kevin Moran did well to get that away.
Lawrence's corner, right going up, beaten by Moran. And now Stapleton against Wallace. And down towards Gittins. And Gittins unable to control it. And it's a goal kick to Manchester United as Southampton prepare to make their substitution. They're taking off Steve Baker and replacing him with Matt Letitia, the Guernsey lad who scored 5 goals, the only Channel Islander in English football. And he has 20 minutes in which to claim another of the goals he scored from substitute.
Letizia came on in the last match against Arsenal, and he's the type of player who gets the ball, he doesn't want to give it to anybody else, and maybe Chris Nicholl thinks that he's going to could do it on his own.
They pushed him into a central striking position alongside Colin Clark. So they now have 3 up Southampton, Danny Wallace being the other. Meanwhile, Peter Davenport wonders if he's about to be called into the fray. Terry Gibson. Took much too long. And now Strachan. Duxbury. Strachan again. Through to Gill and back towards Duxbury, and Duxbury fell over himself, although he's claiming a penalty. His claim wasn't pressed home too hard. The referee engaging in another discussion.
And Strachan's done well here. He's the last 10 minutes he's played really well, Strachan. What do you expect of him? But I didn't think that was a penalty. I think it was 6 of one and half dozen of the other. But I must say, Gittins at the back is doing his best for Manchester United to get them going.
Gibson. Interesting variation on the chest trap. And played to Strachan. To Stapleton. Stapleton with the shot some way off its target.
Well, Frank did well there. Made a break from midfield to get the shot in. And Manchester United have played well in the last few minutes. But any team that strings a couple of passes together is going to get on top, and that's what Manchester United have done.
We await United's throw. Gittins last man back, accepting the goalkeeper and using that self-same keeper. Eric Nixon. Well, Letitia took a knock in that. Played up towards Olsen, who can't keep it in play. Now just over a quarter of an hour to go. And neither side able to take command. I suppose the indictment must be greater on Southampton, given that they've had the extra man for all but 90 seconds of the game. Turner punching, and Holmes trying again. And Turner there once more.
Again, Forrest has done well down the right wing for Forrest. Got a good ball out to Lawrence. Lawrence, good cross. And Holmes could have done better with the chip on his left foot.
Just under a quarter of an hour to go. The winning goal proving elusive. Easy for Gill. Stapleton. It was Olsen playing it back.
Well, the 10-man Manchester United will obviously settle for a draw and be a good result for them here. And the way Southampton are going at the moment, against 11 players or 10 players, you've got to pass the ball around, and their passing hasn't been really good enough to expose the Manchester United's 10 men.
Wallace to Dennis. Cut out by Moran. And the throw to Southampton off this fella. Strachan won it back. In towards Gibson. And Olsen again. Terry Gibson. Easily dispossessed by Forrest. Letitia. Beaten by Garton. Dreadful throw. And now Letitia again. Stapleton losing out to Clark, who's busied himself all afternoon. And Lawrence towards Wallace. And Wallace jumped at Turner. It's fallen to Holmes. The whistle is gone. A foul against Danny Wallace.
I think it was the linesman gave that decision, and a good decision it was too, because Wallace, again, little fella, if you watch Wallace here, he gets his arm up in front of the goalkeeper and really puts him off, and Turner could have injured himself here. You watch Wallace coming in, gets his arm up, really knocks around. Sometimes forwards got to do that, because sometimes the referee and the linesman let it go. This referee might have let it go today.
Cockrell. And Forrest. Really nearly beat Olsen, but nearly not quite good enough. Gittins read the danger. Cockrell towards Clark. And Stapleton's attempted clearance going straight to Wallace. Cockrell now. Glenn Cockrell firing in the shot that in the end was no trouble to Chris Turner. Getting instructions from the bench. Terry Gibson. Now Cockrell. And Holmes towards Forrest. Holmes again. And it's Olsen with Strachan ahead. Olsen still, but Olsen's shot not with the telling effect that his shot in the first half had. And so with 10 minutes to go, it remains 1-1.
Well, he certainly has been their liveliest player, Olsen. He's done very well for them up to the final pass. And really, I think he could have put Gibson through there.
Well, they're bringing off Tony Gill, the young lad, making his first appearance for the Manchester United first team, just 18 years of age. So he departs the fray, and for the last 10 minutes, Peter Davenport goes on. Fresh pair of legs. Game had been passing Gill by, rather, in the latter stages. Good news for Reds fans from Anfield. Steve McMahon breaking the deadlock. The team we saw lose to Wimbledon last week, now behind against Liverpool. Alex Ferguson, United's manager. It's a hard afternoon for his team. It's now Davenport, Stapleton outside. And back for Davenport. And he's won a corner. But in his first real involvement, his touch just wasn't there.
Well, a little bit unlucky there. It's a great break from Davenport, showing great pace. Good vision to Frank Stapleton. And Frank Stapleton has done really well to make it up from midfield. It looks like he's going to shoot. Pulls it back to Davenport. His control just lets him down. I think it's just because he's come on the pitch. He hasn't really loosened up yet. I think if he'd been playing for a few minutes, he'd have put that one away.
United with a corner, just their second in the match. Davenport and Stapleton both up. And out off Nick Holmes, who is unhappy with that decision. The referee's in charge, as he has been demonstrating all through this match. So for United, it's another corner. Olsen hitting it high, Moran going up, and Nixon catching it. Colin Gibson towards Terry, his namesake, unrelated. Nothing coming of that. It's now Garton trying to win it back for United. Wallace in towards Holmes, blocked by Davenport. Strachan through the legs. Olsen for Strachan again. But now with Letitia for Southampton, and breaking towards Lawrence. Holmes once more, Clark is there, and they just squeezed the back pass home to Turner. And Letitia going charging in has hurt the goalkeeper.
It was a light challenge from Letitia there, but if you watch it, I think Frank Stapleton actually blocks this with his hand, or it's very, very suspect anyway. I know it's not intentional. Watch the shot when it comes down here. I'm sure it strikes Frank on the hand. See it there? It just breaks loose for him. Southampton appealed a little bit, but it would have been a very harsh decision for to give a penalty in that position.
Well, Letitia, Southampton's free-scoring substitute, causing problems for Chris Turner. A free kick awarded to Manchester United. Jim McGregor, job done. One back by Davenport. Olsen now. Played long for Terry Gibson to chase. And Wright and Nixon not happy with each other there, really. And Wright, in the end, knocking it away for the throw to United. Olsen. Too firmly struck. Dennis. Tackle from behind by Letitia on Strachan. And Gordon Strachan got booked for a good deal less. Alex Ferguson actually knocks out on their feet. Urging the men forward. 5 more minutes to go. 1-1 is the score, as it has been since Olsen's 11th minute equaliser to the goal in 4 minutes from Nick Holmes. Clark, Letitia.
And this is a great chance for the substitute. This again, Forrest has done well for them. Chips a great ball in here, and Clark, who shows great in the box, just chests it off. And really, that's a very, very good chance. That's the clearest shot anybody's had in the game today.
Mark Wright. Southampton go off in search of 3 points. That would help their cause considerably. Going into this, lying 6th from bottom of the First Division, just 3 points off the bottom club Leicester. Well, the news from Goodison is that Everton have beaten from Loftus Road, rather, is that Everton have beaten Queen's Park Rangers by 1-0. The news is good for Goodison. The goal by Graham Sharp, sufficient to gain Everton 3 points and to move them to within 1 of Arsenal at the top. Arsenal, of course, playing against Tottenham in the London derby, the North London derby tomorrow. So Everton's dislike of plastic not stretching to the dislike of the Queen's Park Rangers pitch on this Saturday afternoon. George Lawrence. Ryan Garton. Holmes helping it on to Wallace. No offside. Lawrence. Strachan in the way. Two and a half minutes to go. And the final score from Anfield means 3 more points for Liverpool. 1-0 they beat West Ham. So they move now to within 6 points of Arsenal. Staying in 3rd place. But Arsenal, as I say, playing tomorrow. And Forrest doing the job at the other end too. Now with Danny Wallace. And Wallace fouling Mike Duxbury. Free kick to Manchester United. Nottingham Forest losing ground, unable to do better than a scoreless draw at Villa Park. That's the final score from there. Meanwhile, Jerry Forrest handling the ball. Another Forrest, with 2 hours in his name, and Manchester United have the free kick. As the game moves into the final minute, all the incidents coming in the first 11 of it. One setting off, 2 goals, and now United, dare say, would be happy with the point. They would certainly move them further away from the bottom of the table. And Davenport trying to find the net. Goal kick.
Davenport has looked sharp since he come on there. He's put the ball through the fella's legs and he's trying to pull him, and he still got away from him. His finish wasn't good, but it makes you wonder why he's sitting on the bench, because he looks very sharp since he's come on.
Well, now we move into added time at the end of the second half. And it looks as though the spoils are going to be shared, which in every circumstance is a much better result for Man. And up the line for Lawrence to chase, with Gibson able to let it run out of play. Greg Stapleton, a lot has been asked of him in this match. He's given his all. And a sound enough result, I'd have thought, for United in the circumstances. And time for no more, as this First Division match at the Dell ends.